Welcome to a special Halloween edition of Antonella Goes Hunting. Today I will show you how to make special party favours for Halloween so you don't have to hunt them down. We're going with cracked spider's eggs. Fill a saucepan with some hot water and add salt. Place your water on to boil. When the water comes to a rolling boil, place your eggs into the water gently so that they don't crack. We've cooled these down now. I can hold one in my hand. I'll crack it a little bit all over. Now what we'll do is when we put some dye into the water over the top of them, the water will seep in and we'll end up with some lovely marbled eggs. Into the bowl with the cracked egg, I'm going to place a little bit of black food colouring, some water, so the eggs are covered. Let them sit for 5 minutes. Oh, these are very pretty. Look at that. We're going to chop each of these eggs in half and remove the yolk. For the centre of the eggs, we're actually going to place a little bit of salt and pepper into the bowl with the yolk and a dash of aioli. We take some baby capers and just chop them roughly and then give all of this a good mix. As soon as you've mixed it up, you're going to take a little bit of red food colouring and give it a good stir. Next, we're going to take the egg mix, the piping bag, twist the top of the bag so it doesn't come out the end. And then you just want to chop the tip off, turn your eggs over and into the cavity where the egg yolk was. Fill it up with the red egg yolk that we have just created. We're going to take our black olives and each olive I'm going to cut lengthways. We're going to place each olive just off onto the white so that you can see the spider. And then for each spider, you're going to cut an olive in half and we're just going to cut his little legs. Each strip that you cut in half again. And you have to make sure that you have 8 legs. Turn your oven onto 160 so it's ready to go for your wrapped mummies. Open up a packet of cocktail frankfurts and these are going to become our mummies. Take your piece of thawed puff pastry and we're going to slice it into thin strips. Then we're going to take our puff pastry and we're going to take our strips, wrap them around our cocktail frankfurts Your wrapped mummies are ready to go into the oven. Put them in there for 10 minutes and just enough so that the actual puff pastry goes a little bit more puffy and starts to cook. You don't want them too brown. Our mummies are done. We just need to put some eyes on them. So we'll wait until they've cooled down a little bit before we do that. When your mummies have cooled down a little bit and they're easy to pick up and move around, I want you to grab a little bit of cream cheese on the tip of a knife and just put some on the back of a sugar eyeball and place it onto your mummy so that we're going to put little eyes on each one. Time to make our red eyes. We're going to get our little tiny button mushrooms, and I want you to cut out the stem by making a little cavity. When the mushrooms have been cleaned out, you want to get cherry tomatoes and chop them in half out the inside of the tomato. And you're going to place each one of these on the inside of your mushroom, like so. Then we're going to take a little bocconcini. It's called a cherry bocconcini. It's smaller than your normal size. Chop each one of these in half, and you're going to put it in so that the flat side is up. So we want it to melt in there. Take a jar of stuffed green olives. You want the ones that have got the pimento on the inside of them because you're going to slice them so that you have your red eye and it's sitting right on the top. Place your eyeballs into the baking tray. Take a little dash of olive oil on each eye, not too much, and then add a little sprinkling of salt and a little sprinkling of white pepper. Put our eyeballs into the oven. For our next Halloween delight, we're going to make witch's fingers with frog's blood. So we're going to get nice little Dutch carrots for these. Now we're not going to peel them, so I want you to give them a really good hearty wash and scrub them down so it gets them nice and clean. But I want you to leave the skin on. And then I just want you to cut a little divot on one side, which is where we're going to place the nail. And then chop off the ends so that they just look like 7 fingers. As you do each finger, place it down and check that it doesn't rock too much because you want it to sit straight up so that the nail sits correctly. Next, we have to do the witch's fingernails. Green capsicum would be best. Red doesn't stand out enough. Now, as you can see, I've just taken one section, I've cleaned it out of the seeds, and we're just going to push this down so that I've got it nice. And then I'm going to take the inside skin off because all I want is the outside of the actual capsicum. So I've got a nice thin piece of capsicum skin there. I'm going to very carefully cut sharp looking pointy nails. We're going to take a little bit of cream cheese on the tip of a knife, and on the part of the carrot which you have just sliced off, we're going to add our nail. To go with our witch's fingers, our frog's blood is actually made out of French onion dip and a little bit of green colouring. We're going to place our French onion dip into a bowl. Now you can make your own, but that's a whole other episode. We're going to put a little bit of green colouring and give it a good stir. Look at that, gruesome frog's blood. The chunks from the French onion make it look very realistic. Now that all our ghastly components are ready to go, we're going to do the last final touch. I originally saw this at a Halloween party I held and a guest brought this along. Thanks, Karen. Now, I have taken, instead of a plastic skull, a crystal vodka skull that's been finished, and I have filled it with lights, which I bought from the $2 shop. And then you'll be able to put the battery behind it, top it up, and turn the lights on so that the skull lights up. So with our prosciutto head done, we're going to place it here at the corner and we're going to fill up our plate with all our different. So let's start with our marbled spider eggs. Then our eyeballs. Now we need to remember our frog's blood and our witch's fingers. Let's put one into the frog's blood just for effect. And of course, our mummies. Mummies always go with a dash of blood, which is actually tomato sauce. So there we have it, the perfect Halloween party favours. No need to hunt anymore.